Hello YouTube, this is Presupplier, and I'm playing From the Depths. 2 days ago, there was a dev test server release for the new canon overhaul for the game, and so far I've figured out how to make the cannons work to a very high degree of efficiency. Me and my buddies have been playing around with it for the last couple of days, and I went on YouTube to see if anybody else has figured out how, best ways to configure the cannons and whatnot, and nobody's put anything up, so I'm going to do a video on it, and I do believe I'll be the first one. So this is the cannon that I've built. This is just a basic cannon, probably one that I would put in like a triple or a quad turret to use as a main battery for a large ship. So the internal structure of it is kind of large, but we are going to cut down on that a bit whenever I do the build for you guys and over there. So first off, I'm going to show you guys the shell that I have in here. It's 2 gunpowder casings, an HE warhead, and squash head. Squash head will take all the explosive power that's behind it and project it forward whenever it hits its target. Knocks out walls and will pretty much destroy anything on the other side of said wall with relative ease because of the shell type. We have, I don't even remember, hold on. I don't even know how many clips we've got on this thing. 52. We've got 52 autoloaders on this. So she reloads kind of quick. I do believe her reload's like 4 seconds. She's got really good cooling too, so the reload doesn't take very long, and a good bit of inertial dampeners. So that's always good. But anyway, I'm going to show you the power of this cannon on one of these ships that I have that I'm using in my fleet in Me 7 Miles campaign. For the lower internals of the ship. This is just demonstrating the fire rate. Oh, we've hit ammo. Oh boy. Oh Christ. Well, I'd like to say job well done. Yeah, so there's that. Oh, back on task. We'll come back to that later. So we're going to build that gun over here. I'm going to show you guys how to put them together. I'm going to show you how the pieces fit together. I'm going to show you what pieces you need to use where. So you start off with any, like any turret, or if you want to make this a sponson gun or a fixed weapon, you would put it on the hull of the vehicle. But, excuse me, sorry about that. For these purposes, we are going to just mount it to a turret. It's easier. Well, not easier, but it'll show you everything, pretty much. And there's only really one difference between putting it on a turret and putting it on the hull, and I'll show you that later. So the first thing you're going to need is a firing piece. Now, I know you guys are going to think that the flat part will be the front because of where the barrel goes, but no, it is that curved side. So you want to put the curved in first. Then your gauge increases. Your gauge increases on in this cannon system works differently than the gauge increases on the old cannon system. On the old cannon system, you need to put your gauge increases on 6-way connectors. On this one, you attach it directly to the back of the firing piece. So we'll put 10 of these. Now, technically, for max gauge, we only need 8. Max gauge for the custom cannons is 500mm cannons. So, to achieve that, you only need 8 gauge increases, but I put 10 just for the sake of, it's a nice square number. Now, you will need to put a splitter on the back. This is something else that's also very different from the old cannon system. The gauge increases now have a splitter so that you can have more than one line of them, or you can have one line of them and a line of coolers, or the gauge cooling unit right here. These are going to be one of the biggest things to determine what your reload time and your reload speed are going to be. Because if the barrel itself if the barrel and the gun can't cool itself, you're not going to be able to fire another shot. Because realistically, if you fired another shot when the barrel and the gun were too hot, the gun would more than likely detonate or just seize up on you. So we're going to put another splitter there, and we're going to make another line, but this time with coolers down there. Now in this space right here, what we're going to do is we're going to put hydraulic recoil absorbers, the 2-meter ones. Hydraulic recoil absorbers are essential. Well, not really essential, but they are, if you want a gun that's going to be mounted to a smaller vessel or even a bigger vessel. Sorry about that, I yawned again. It's kind of early in the morning, and I just felt like doing this video because I finally figured out how to put these together. So, oh boy. So if you're making a small vehicle or small vessel with these new cannons, you're going to want the recoil dampeners, or even if you're making a large vessel with massive cannons, the recoil dampeners are going to be a good idea. So, they will get rid of the recoil that your gun has. I don't know why I said that. Anyway, so now that we've got the recoil absorbers on there, one thing left to do, put our 6-way connectors from the sides of the firing piece. The only thing that connects really to the 6-way connectors, the only thing that needs to connect to the 6-way connectors is the autoloaders. The autoloaders and your clips. That's it. You don't really need anything else. So let's put those there. And let's get our autoloaders. So we've got 1 meter, 2 meter, and 4 meter shells for the autoloaders. 4 meter shells, well, the way that shells work in this update, your shells are customizable, just like the missiles. So your shells can have different warheads on them, they can have different parts to them, they can have different amounts of propellant, they can have different amounts of high explosive or armor piercing, there's sabot rounds. They really put a lot of work into this game, or into this update, I should say. So, unlike the gun over there, we're not going to put another row of autoloaders on the top because, honestly, we really don't need them. We've got 20 right here. So, once you've got your autoloaders down, you want to get your ammo clips. And you want to get the same size ammo clips as you have for the same size that you have for these autoloaders. So you're going to want to put them on like so, and make sure that you orient them so that the green cone, I'll call it the female cone, is against the autoloaders. Otherwise, it's going to say not connected, and it won't do anything. So we'll put that there, and let's see, what else do we need on here? Yes, the ammo input feeders. Now, the way that these cannons are going to work is you don't need to have your ammunition stores or your, not really ammunition stores, your ammunition production on the turret. You don't need those parts on the turret at all. Those parts can be separate, and it's because of this ammo input feeder piece and the ammo output feeder piece, which I'll be showing in a moment. What they do is you could have, say, down in the bowels of your ship, your ammo production and your shells, and with these ammo input and output feeders, you can hook the two up, sort of like, I guess for lack of a better description, kind of like Wi-Fi, or Bluetooth. You Bluetooth them to each other, kind of, and they work somewhat like an indirect version of the laser transmitters for the laser weapons. Alright, so we'll put a target predictor on here. don't really know which way it's supposed to go. I guess that way. We'll go with that way. And as for your gun, you're mostly done. All that's left now is to put a mantlet on here. Now, this is something else that's different than the other cannons. Now you have gun mantlets. You got your 1 meter Omni mantlet that's going to let you aim your gun in any direction. So if your gun was sponsored, or if your gun was a fixed weapon that was attached to the hull, you'd put an Omni mantlet on there so that your gun can move left, right, up, and down in all azimuth directions. Now, of course, that directional movement is limited because of how small it is. You got your 1 meter elevation mantlet, which allows your gun to move only up and down in, I guess you want to say, like a 45-degree cone. This one does not allow for your gun to move left and right at all. So this is one to use for a turret or for guns that are on the side of your ship that are somewhat like pirate cannons, if you want to call it that. Then you've got your 3x3 omnidirectional mantlet, and this is going to be, of course, if you want larger range of motion for your hull-mounted guns. And then you get your 3 meter tall elevation mantlet. This, of course, is just going to allow you to have further movement for your gun, further elevation and gun depression. And then your 3 meter tall AAA mantlet. This mantlet's going to allow you to aim straight up, and it will allow you to be able to set up your guns to shoot down planes. Now, another cool thing about this game is that whenever you put down whenever you build a turret, say, and then you put your barrel pieces on, which, actually, I want to hold off on the barrel pieces, you can set your gun to have a certain number of barrels. You can have between 1 barrel and 6 barrels. And it's really useful if you're trying to make an anti-aircraft gun, because with 6 very small barrels, you can put a lot of shells downrange and you can tear apart a plane. Or you could put it at, say, 2 or 3 barrels and still have enough power to, wreck a ship if you need to. So you can change that. The only drawback of changing that, while in combat or something, is it's going to empty out your autoloaders and it's going to empty out your clips, so you got to wait for all that to reload, and it does take a